welcome to the world of mysteries. I'm Becca, Private Eye. I've been investigating a fella named God, diving deeper into what he's like, the things he's done. I think all of us wonder why we're here. Is there a reason I'm in this place, in this family? Esther, a hero from the Bible, asked those questions too. Esther was taken from her home in Judah to a kingdom called Persia. Her parents had died when she was young, so her cousin Mordecai took care of her. One day, the king of Persia decided to find himself a new queen. He brought in many young ladies and chose Esther out of all of them to be queen. Now, you might think being a queen sounds great, but annoyed this king fella put even 1 foot wrong and he'd toss her out, or worse. Esther lived in fear. Esther probably wondered, why am I here? Why am I far from home in a scary situation with barely any family or friends? But things were about to get a whole lot worse for Esther. One day, an important man in the palace named Haman walked by Esther's cousin Mordecai. Haman wanted everyone to bow down when he walked past, but Mordecai refused. Haman got so angry he decided to get rid of Mordecai and all of God's people, the Jews, too. Haman talked to the king, telling him, "Certain people keep themselves separate from everyone else. They don't obey your laws. It really isn't good for you to put up with them." Haman was talking about the Jewish people. Even though Haman was lying about the Jews breaking the law, the king believed him and made a new law. On a certain day, everyone in the kingdom could attack the Jewish people that lived there. Esther wrote to her cousin Mordecai. She was terrified. Someone had to tell the king. But there was a law. No one was allowed to talk to the king unless he invited them to. If Esther went to see the king without being invited, he could have her sent away or even killed. It all came down to this. If the king held out his scepter, Esther could talk. If not, she was in trouble. Here's what Mordecai wrote back to Esther. "What if you don't say anything at this time? Then help for the Jews will come from another place, who knows? It's possible that you became queen for a time, just like this." Even though this was scary, God still had a plan, and God wanted Esther to be a part of it. So Esther had a choice to make. Stay silent and try to protect herself, or speak up, take a risk, and join in with God's plan to save her people. After praying for 3 days, Esther went to see the king. She stood in his courtyard even though she wasn't invited. Across the room, the king saw Esther. This was the moment that would decide her fate. The king reached out his scepter. Esther could speak. She told him the truth about Haman's plan. The king was shocked. He changed the law so that Esther's people would be protected. God's people were saved. Even when Esther felt afraid, God had a plan for her. I think the same thing is true for you and me. God has a plan for you. The Bible is filled with evidence that says so. He made you who you are and put you where you are on purpose. When life got tough, Esther didn't stop living for God. Instead, she trusted God's plan and followed him. We can do the same thing. This week in Comics Cafe, Mason told Bree her story is a little like Esther's. Maybe she was a leader in band for a reason. But will she choose to stand up for Millie and the others, or stay silent and protect herself? We'll find out. Coming up next, this is Becca, Private Eye, signing off. I need a sinker.